Creepy facts that will give 99% of you chills, part 5.
If humans killed each other at the same rate
That we kill animals?
then we would be extinct in 17 days. This is interesting, but also very chilling. After the Pulse nightclub shooting, when the cops were investigating,
There were countless phones ringing next to the victims' dead bodies.
and it was their loved ones and friends calling them, hoping they would answer and say that they're okay. According to the FBI, over 40% of murders go unsolved,
Meaning if you get killed,
there's a pretty good chance that the person that killed you will never spend a day in jail. If you live to become the oldest person alive,
this means the entire human population.
has been replaced in your lifetime except for you. Humans have enough bite power to bite off their own finger, the bone and all.
But the only thing stopping us.
It's our brain's natural safety factor,
Now don't get any ideas to go try this.
because you will be missing a finger.
These are the scariest foods to eat in the world, part 4.
Up first is a sour toe cocktail.
This is served in Dawson City, California at the Sourtail Cocktail Club.
This is a preserved human toe in a cocktail drink.
You have to drink the whole cocktail and eat the human toe.
To be accepted into the sour toe oath. Up next is fried rattlesnake,
This is very popular in Texas.
and it apparently tastes better than chicken. But if you're afraid of snakes, this is not the meal for you. Next is a puffer fish. This fish is super poisonous,
And it can easily kill a human.
as it's 100 times more potent than cyanide.
If you eat one of these with a lethal dose of toxins in it,
You will quickly die. Finally is black pudding.
but this is nothing like pudding,
This is made from pigs and cows' cooked blood,
which is super creepy and disgusting.
so unless you're a vampire, I don't recommend eating this.
These are the scariest foods to eat in the world, part 3.
Up first is fried rats.
These are super popular in Thailand.
People like the texture and the flavor of these
They say they eat these rats.
to control the rodent population, but eating rats is pretty creepy. Up next is a still beating cobra heart,
They say eating this helps you with your senses.
and the people who eat this say it's very delicious.
But after you eat this,
You can still hear the heart beating in your stomach for several minutes. Next is wasp crackers.
this is a cookie with wasps. And they say as you eat this,
The stingers of the wasps can still sting while you're eating it. Now that is super scary. Finally is fried grasshoppers,
people season these with salt, pepper, and chili.
and then they get fried. And as you bite into it, a lot of juice squirts out, and apparently it tastes like popcorn.
These are the scariest foods to eat in the world, part 1.
Up first is tuna eyeballs,
These are very popular in Japan.
and apparently they're very good.
They're said to be very healthy also.
But I don't understand why people would like eating eyeballs. Up next is fried spider,
This is very popular in Cambodia.
and people like it because it's crunchy on the outside and gooey on the inside.
This is completely terrifying.
Especially if you're scared of spiders. Next up is barbecued bat,
This is very popular in Indonesia.
and they say it tastes pretty good. But if you don't like the taste of bat, you can just ask for extra garlic, pepper, and chili. Finally is monkey brain.
This is popular in China.
And not only is this a scary food, it's also very bad for your health.
From eating it, you can develop dementia.
Loss of vision, depression, and eventually death.
These are the scariest foods to eat in the world, part 2.
Up first is pinkies. These are newborn mice and rats pinkies,
And they are eaten whole in some parts of Asia.
and can either be crispy, fried, or grilled. Up next is maggot cheese,
This is made from sheep milk's cheese.
and contains live insect larvae, and is only available on the black market.
Just imagine eating cheese.
And then seeing countless maggots inside of it. Next is the still squirming octopus. This is a very popular Korean dish,
And is very scary to eat.
This is because the octopus is still alive and moving.
As you eat this,
The tentacles of the octopus can attach itself to your throat.
and cause you to choke and die.
This dish kills 6 people a year in South Korea. Finally is a tarantula burger.
Many people enjoy eating this and say that it tastes like seafood.
I think this is a very scary thing to eat, especially knowing that you have a dead tarantula on your burger.
These are the most scariest phone numbers to call, part 4.
Up first is 2020-2020.
When you call this number,
A woman with a monotone voice will answer and then repeat, help me, Susie's drowning. Or help me, Susie's dying.
it is said that if you don't help the woman, you will die within a week of calling this number.
Next up is 630-296-7536.
This number is linked to a company that specializes in life remodeling.
When you call, a woman will answer and say, your number has been traced and your information has been logged.
After that, something may happen. It's not entirely clear if it's good or bad,
but it is creepy to consider what they mean by life remodeling. Finally is 801-820-0263.
It is said when you call this number,
you will hear a male voice repeating the numbers 1, 3, and 7.
Then the man will say your full name,
what you're doing at that exact time, and that he's watching you. These are the most scariest planets to ever exist, part 1. This is Korat 7b.
This planet's atmosphere
is filled with minerals that form rock clouds.
This means on this planet it rains rocks.
Also on one side of this planet, it constantly faces a star,
and the temperature is 3600 degrees.
This is HD 189-733b,
and this planet is extremely deadly.
The wind on this planet reaches speeds of 5,400 miles per hour.
And if that's not scary enough,
it also rains glass on this planet.
So imagine getting hit by a piece of glass coming at you over 5,000 miles per hour.
This is Tres 2b.
This is the darkest planet in the whole universe.
This planet's atmosphere absorbs 99% of the light it receives from the sun.
It's so dark on this planet
that if you held your hand out in front of you, you wouldn't even be able to see it.
Also, the temperature on this planet
is over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the scary reality of what would happen if the moon disappeared. Without the moon, days on Earth will only last 6 to 12 hours.
That means there could be over 1,000 days in 1 year.
The ocean tides will change drastically in size,
and they will be so much more shorter than they are now.
Without the moon, Earth's axis would be completely off,
and would make the Earth spin 3 to 4 times more faster. That means every single thing on this planet
will be completely thrown into space the second the moon disappears.
So without the moon, there will be no life on Earth.
So next time you look up into the night sky, realize that the moon is making life on Earth shine very bright. Spine-tingling photos taken just before tragedy, part 3. This junior ice hockey team from Canada, the Humboldt Broncos,
were on their way to a game when their bus got hit by a truck going 62 miles an hour.
The crash killed 16 people, 14 of them were coaches and players. This is the last photo ever taken of the team. This man was enjoying surfing at the beach one day,
but he could have never imagined what would happen to him.
When the man was hitting this wave, he did not notice the shark in front of him.
The man then fell off his surfboard,
and the shark then attacked and killed the man. Robert Overraker was trying to raise money for the homeless,
so he jet skied off to Niagara Falls as a stunt to raise money.
But sadly, Robert's parachute failed to open, and he then fell to his death. This man, Maxoon Khan,
jumped into a tiger's cage at a zoo.
As the tiger stared at Khan, bystanders started throwing rocks and garbage at the tiger,
which only upset the tiger,
causing it to attack Khan. Khan did not survive the injuries, and he later died. Spine-tingling photos taken just before tragedy, part 4. This 18-year-old Russian girl
would climb very dangerous heights
to get the perfect selfie.
But in this photo,
she climbed a 30-foot tall bridge,
and then after this picture was taken, she fell to her death.
But it wasn't the fall that killed her.
But while she was falling, she tried to grab onto the wires of the bridge
and ended up getting electrocuted by 1,500 volts. This man was going for a walk in the woods when he saw a black bear approaching him.
Moments after this picture was taken,
the man was brutally attacked by this bear and killed.
The man's phone was located in the woods,
completely covered in teeth marks. This is Sydney Loof, posting a selfie on her Snapchat story before she went on a date.
She was then tragically killed that night
by her date. She had bruises all over her body and she was strangled to death. She went on this date excited to start a new future, but instead her future got cut short. Spine-tingling photos taken just before tragedy, part 5. Dave Haley took one last photo of his wife and 4-year-old daughter
before taking off for their dream vacation
aboard MH17,
shortly before it was shot down
over Ukraine by Russian-led forces, killing everybody on board. This is John Lennon signing an autograph for a fan. The fan was Mark Chapman on the right.
And a few hours later,
that same fan shot John Lennon, killing him. This photo just looks like a normal stain,
but it's much more chilling.
This is a shadow outline of a person who was instantly disintegrated by the nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima. This is 13-year-old girl Myra Sanchez. She was trapped in debris from a volcano destroying her village in 1985.
Rescue workers tried to get her out, but it was impossible.
She was being held down by heavy objects, and her dead grandma's arms were wrapped around her legs.
Omaira died
after enduring 55 hours of being neck deep in filthy water.
Spine-tingling photos taken just before tragedy, part 6.
A dash cam captures moments before Flight 235 crashed into the Kulong River in Taiwan.
The plane carried 58 people,
And only 15 survived the crash. Giles Leclerc and Marianne Lebanon.
took a selfie at the Bataclan Theater while waiting for a band to play.
Moments after this picture was taken, 4 gunmen stormed the theater and started shooting.
Giles was killed,
Who was on the left, and Marianne survived. This is the last moments of the gorilla named Harambe. After a kid fell into the enclosure of the gorilla,
he started touching him and pulling him.
and moments later, Harambe was then shot to death. This photo shows parkour enthusiast Pavel Kashin.
Performing the trick that would lead to his death.
He's pictured here attempting to do a backflip on the edge of the building
But he would lose his balance.
and fall to the ground below, killing him on impact.
Spine-tingling photos taken just before tragedy, part 7.
This is the Concorde crash,
Moments after takeoff, one of the plane's engines caught on fire.
causing the plane to crash into a nearby hotel. This killed 113 people. A local Philippine politician took this picture of his family during New Year's Day in 2011
Also capturing the picture,
of the hired gunman sent to kill him. Right after this picture was taken, the man was shot in the head and died. This father stares at the hand and foot of his 5-year-old daughter. They were cut off as punishment for the father failing to make the daily rubber quota. On 9/11/2001, this man decided to jump out of the World Trade Centers.
because he was trapped on his floor and did not want to burn to death.
He wasn't the only one to jump and take his own life that day. This picture is truly disturbing and sad.
Creepy facts that will give 99% of you chills, part 2.
More people die every year from taking selfies.
Then are killed in shark attacks.
So next time you are taking a selfie, be aware of your surroundings and be careful. Refrigerator doors are magnetic.
Because children used to die inside them while playing hide and seek.
These older model refrigerators could only be opened from the outside.
So when the children hid in them,
And shut the door, there was no way of them getting out and they died. The reason why dogs love squeaky toys so much,
because it triggers an ancestral instinct.
that reminds them of a whimpering prey. So next time you see your dog chewing on a squeaky toy, it actually thinks it's chewing on a dying animal crying for its life. People who spend more than 2 hours a day in front of a screen,
Actually make their lives 1.4 years shorter.
so I think some of us have to get off our phones for a little bit.
This is the creepy story about the sleeping kid.
There was a 9th grade math class in school one day.
Halfway through the lesson,
Everyone noticed that there was one boy asleep.
so instead of waking him up,
They all started throwing pencils at him and writing things on his face with Sharpie until the teacher noticed and told him to stop.
she then went over to the boy who was sleeping and tried to wake him up.
But no matter how hard she shook him, the boy never woke up.
The teacher then called the nurse down to her classroom.
When the nurse got there, she noticed that the boy was not breathing,
She then checked for a pulse,
and she couldn't get one. The boy was then rushed to the hospital.
and a couple minutes later, he was pronounced dead. They said the cause of his death was from him choking on his gum.
But the most messed up part was the classmates were writing and throwing stuff at the dead boy's body.
This is the scary story about the wine.
There was a married couple who loved wine,
They loved wine so much,
that they bought multiple wine barrels for themselves.
it was the best tasting wine that either of them ever had.
The couple always invited friends over,
To try the wine, and they too thought it was the best wine ever.
but one night after the couple finished a barrel of wine
They tried moving it,
and realized that it was extremely heavy for an empty barrel of wine.
so the couple opened the lid, and what they saw inside made them freeze.
There was a dead body inside, all moldy and stained with wine.
The couple then opened up every other barrel.
And to their surprise, there was a dead body in each one.
This whole time, the couple's favorite wine,
Had a dead, decomposing body in it.
the scary reality of what would happen if Jupiter disappeared.
At first, the night sky would appear normal.
But after a few days,
Big flashes of light would appear in the sky.
slowly these flashes,
Will get bigger and bigger. Then everybody would see meteorites coming at them.
because without Jupiter,
Most big or small space rocks,
and asteroids would be approaching towards the Earth,
millions of asteroids that were supposed to hit the Earth,
were pulled away by Jupiter's gravity. Life as we know it on Earth,
would not exist without Jupiter.
and this means humanity,
Would have never existed.
the scary reality of what would happen if oxygen disappeared for 5 seconds,
Buildings and houses would turn into dust.
and any other standing structure would be completely destroyed,
Every single vehicle on the entire planet,
would immediately stop working,
all airplanes in the air,
would immediately start crashing down,
every drop of water in the ocean,
would evaporate almost instantly, and just like the oceans, every single person's body on Earth,
would evaporate into space. The ground beneath us would not even exist anymore.
and the craziest part,
is that the whole world will literally come to an end.